Welcome to the Weird But Wonderful podcast. This is last week's episode. If you'd like to get today's episode, you can head over to patreon.com/oneweirdpodcast and get episodes a week early by supporting the show. Either way, enjoy the episode. I'll talk to you next time. Peace. What's up, cuties? It's the Weird But Wonderful podcast. Welcome back. It's your weekly dose of weirdness with me, your host, James Carline. On this show, we take a journey into the minds of strange people doing strange things. And what stranger way to kick it off this week than calling you my cuties? So, cuties, bit of a story before we jump in. You know, normally like to keep this a Rhone-free zone. I can now officially say my test results came back negative. I am Rhone-free, but I did have to get the Rona test because I started to get sick on like Thursday afternoon or whatever. You know, sore throat. And then how it normally do over the weekend, you get worse and worse. But with like phlegm, I literally had like every symptom, you know, the shortness of breath, the wheezing, the fatigue and sore throat and everything but the fever. I had the symptoms for the Rhone. And I was like, look, you know, it's probably not the Rhone. But boy, howdy, sure would love some antibiotics. So you call up a home doctor and you have to do this like preamble test now where you have to sort of give them your symptoms to be like, hey, do you meet the Rhone symptoms? And if you do meet the Rhone symptoms, they won't come and see you. So I did a telehealth call and the guy was like, oh, what's up? So told him all my stuff and he's like, sounds like Rhone. So he's like, get this number, call these people at the Rhone zone, and they'll tell you where to go. So I did that, called up Mark on the 1-800 number, and he directed me to my local Rhone test zone. They were closed, actually, which was strange. But so then we ended up finding another Rhone zone, and we go and queue up there, and I thought that, you know, the Rhone testing place is going to be like ground zero for the Rona, with like everyone just these like cut to like a Dawn of the Dead style scenario. Or like Day of the Dead where people are queuing up to get through like a military blockade and they're testing everyone. And then, you know, someone in the back turns into a zombie and then it's just everyone starts running. The military starts shooting people. I thought that's very much what it was going to be at the Rhone testing zone. But it's much more low-key than that. It was just... There was a junkie there, though, that sort of made the whole vibe pretty uncomfortable. You know, you're already in a place that's, you know, not great. You know, your doctor and the guy on 1-800 is telling you you're potentially Rhone positive. So you got to go do this thing. And now you're in a queue with other potential, you know, Rhone people. We're all, you know, Rhone loners together in the queue. And then there's this dude over here who's turns out wasn't there for anything Rhone related. He was just pacing back and forth. Was smacking the wall a lot of crouching down, a lot of not obeying the 1.5 meter rule distance for people, making a lot of people very uncomfortable. And, excuse me, yeah, like one of the doctors came out to him and they were like, hey, mate, you know, what's going on? You know, how can we help you? And he was like, I need it flushed out. They were like, okay. He's like, I'm just here to get it flushed out. So, sort of didn't hear too much of where that went. But I was like, well, you know, this is the Rhone zone. You know, didn't take me long to figure out that he was potentially in the wrong area. You know what I mean? So not sure what he was getting flushed out. But I hope it all panned out for him. I hope everything got flushed out that needed to be flushed out, you know, posy vibes to him and his. But then, so anyway, I just mentioned that because I was like, this guy was making an uncomfortable experience, even more uncomfortable for everyone that was there, especially for this mother and her kid. And he was just like, kind of like, not like tweaking out, but was just like acting really strange. So I like moved to stand like in between him and them to, I don't know, try and help her feel more comfortable. I don't know if that did anything, or if she just thought like, oh great, his big rotund friend's coming at me. But yeah, the Roan test, not for a lot of like, kind of a hassle, but you like, you got to do it and stuff, because it's like, stopping the spread, reducing that curve. It's all about reducing that bloody curve. Yeah, they hit you with they come out, they explain it to you, blah blah blah. Someone takes your details, you explain everything, and then someone from the admin calls you and they're like, oh, the doctor's coming out, and then so they come out and they're like, face shield mask, like robed up, which makes you feel really good, because you're like, hey, only potentially Roan at this point. But when someone's hitting you with like, again, Day of the Dead style military testing, face shields, you're like, okay, I've got it. I've got it. Yeah, they pull out this fucking massive swab, and then she's like, oh, no big deal. We're just going to hit the back of your throat with it, and then the back of your nasal cavity. I'll put a picture up on screen for the podcast listeners of how deep that swab goes. It's deep. So they do the throat, no separate swab, same swab. Then they do the nose. I'm thankful for the order, though. I'm thankful they don't start with nose, then go throat. And then they get right into the back of your nasal cavity, give it a swizzle, and right back there. You feel it. You feel it. I remember actually, I put a tweet out on Twitter a while ago about how like I'd very much like to avoid getting corona solely for this reason, because I want to avoid this test. And I got the test, unfortunately. Anyway. Yeah, and then they're like, okay, cool. So quarantine, because you potentially roamed out, and we'll let you know in 1 to 3 days. But I can say the results are in, Roan is out, rhinovirus is in. However, what did the message say? It says, James Carline, please be advised your coronavirus swab is negative in caps. Thank you. Thank you, Mater Hospital. Mwah. Your respiratory virus panel is positive for rhinovirus. Your respiratory virus panel is positive for rhinovirus, which should clear on its own. If your symptoms worsen, please see your GP. And then there's a ton of other info about, not being in contact with people, blah, blah, blah. But one of the main reasons that I was like kind of sketched out on the whole thing was because someone else I work at a company 3 days a week. And one of the people from there had to get a Rona test, and he was potentially Roan positive, which I'm assuming he's not, because he even said like, I'm sick, but I got to get the test done. Because yeah, like I don't know if like GPs just like won't see you until you get the all clear. That was my understanding. Because I was like, dude, I just want some antibiotics to deal with this. But they're like, yeah, we won't see you till you're cleared of Roan, but cleared of Roan now, which is good. It's just it's scary. The respiratory stuff for me is so scary because like, I'm not in peak physical condition, but also like I smoked for most of my teenage and young adult life, and I quit in like 2014. After like I got pneumonia, I got like a chest and lung infection, and then that developed into pneumonia and it put me in hospital for like 7 days or 8 days. And at that point I was like, I'm done. I'm done with cigarettes. It was terrifying. Not being able to breathe, surprising. I don't know if you know this, but not being able to breathe is surprisingly terrifying. And that's what this has been for like ever since I got sick. Even now, like, it's just like shit in your lungs. It makes it hard to breathe. It's not pleasant. It's not great, but yeah, a bit of a Roan story before we jumped into the podcast. Maybe some OTT, maybe some overshare in there, but you know, hey, that's what's been going on in my life. Getting sick, potentially getting roaned, getting cleared of the roan, and you know, now we're back on track, I guess. But yeah, let's jump into some podcast stuff, shall we? Man, every part of me wanted to start this episode with barrel now, all right now, you know, bit of sweet leaf for the Black Sabbath fans. That would have been dinged in a second. Thanks a lot, YouTube. You know, always trying to stifle creativity. These people, a creative platform trying to stifle creativity. You know who can't stifle creativity? Do you know who's keeping creativity alive, particularly in the business realm? Drug dealers. Talked about them before, and we'll talk about them again. a lot of pro drug dealer talk on this podcast. You know, sorry to anyone who was wronged in their time by a drug dealer, and I keep giving so much pro drug dealer sentiment. But I did want to talk about how these drug dealers have turned corporate. They've gone corpo now, you know, no longer keeping it on the main streets, no longer doing it grassroots. You know, it's 2020. Why are we grassrootsing our drug deals and our drug campaigns? You know, it's enough. It's enough. Drug dealers are selling their customer databases for as much as £150,000, which is, and we've got the conversion, 277,714 Australian dollars, as they adopt business strategies to maximize profits. Guys, I've had enough, okay? I'm sick of the mean streets. I'm sick of the grassroots. I'm sick of going toe-to-toe, trying to fight people to keep my corners and stuff. It's too much, you know? It's 2020. I'm going clean. I'm selling my customer database. To who exactly? Pfizer? Yeah, Pfizer. So, as you'll see here, his name is Jeff McKinley, and he lives at 142 West Street. And here's his mobile number and email address. And he loves Twisties. That's his snack of choice. I don't know if that helps you, some kind of brand association or remarketing campaign. And he also loves Percocets. So, and also marijuana. So if you can sort of do something with that. I don't know if you guys are in the marijuana game or the Percocet game, but that's Jeff McKinley's purchasing behavior around his drugs. So you're welcome, Pfizer. The savvy criminals have established a valuable market in client lists and are also using product placement and branding, mimicking tactics used by legitimate firms. How does someone show up? Like, brand deals for drug dealers has got to be like the next step to influencer marketing. Your drug dealer just shows up wearing a Twisties t-shirt. Hey guys, what's up? This week with the company, this is obviously the CEO of this drug dealing company. This week we have a $25,000 brand deal with Pringles. So today, everyone going out, running the drugs, door knocking, spreading the word, doing all that stuff, and doing drop-offs will obviously be wearing a Pringles branded t-shirt. And that way, you know, and if you can really find any way for sort of Pringles to come up in conversation, that'd be great. And also, we do have Pringles branded backpacks for all of you, filled with cans of Pringles. And if you could try and upsell them into a can or two of Pringles as well, that'd be great. So, yes, that's $50 for your weed. And hey, while we're here, could I interest you in maybe some sour cream and onion Pringles? Some original Pringles, yes or no? Yes. I know the can got smaller, the chip got smaller. No one's talking about it, even though we all know what happened, Pringles. What do you think? We all thought our hands got bigger? We know what you're doing. Some send out sample bags of drugs, special offers, 2-for-1 deals, and limited offers. according to the county lines, exploitation and drug dealing among urban street gangs, which has been written by Dr. Simon Harding, Associate Professor in Criminology at the Research Centre for Cybercrime and Security at the University of West London. The phrase county lines is used where drugs are carried from one area to another, usually by children over a boundary. The county line is the mobile phone line used to take the order of drugs. One member of an organised crime gang is quoted in the book as saying, "So there's a boy I know, he just sold his line for something like £150,000 cash, which was for a phone containing information about customers." Harding says the usual rate is estimated between £30,000 and £50,000. Selling your phone with contacts for the people that you deal to who? Nielsen? He's selling them to Nielsen? Is it Nielsen? The like marketing and advertising like data people. The book, which is published by Bristol University Press, reveals the expensive criminal exploitation and control in the daily grind to sell drugs. It draws upon interviews and case studies, giving a voice to users and dealers, alongside Harding's in-depth analysis of the techniques and relationships of gangs, youth violence, and drugs. I've got to get my hands on this fucking book. This book is talking about how drug dealers are like using remarketing, branding tactics, and selling their customer info. That's fucking... Hey, you can be upset at drug dealers all you want. That's fucking smart. That's smart. They're getting like 30 to £50,000 for selling a phone to what, like Nielsen's? Maybe. I don't know. Don't sue me, Nielsen's. Harding wrote that purchasing the phone of a drug dealer, which can contain the number of hundreds of existing customers, offers, quote, faster routes to faster profits. That is definitely how this is someone pitching like, and of course, thank you for taking this meeting today, Pfizer and Nielsen, who will be competing obviously for this customer data. ABC company here as well. Google. ABC Group company, I don't know. Anyway, I have 10 phones on offer. Each phone has hundreds of contacts and purchase behavior of my latest drug escapades, my drug clients. And obviously, if I click over to my next slide, you'll see with the pixel art picture of a graph going up, faster routes lead to faster profits. Oh yeah, very good. Oh, nice. Yeah, they do. Faster routes do lead to faster profits. I have heard that. Quote, phones of county lines can be sold and swapped for tens of thousands of pounds, he wrote. This is the equivalent of a company selling on a database of buyers. Acquiring such a line ensures the line or a new owner is up and operating instantaneously without the need to create a new user database. So they're selling it to like a new potential drug dealers, or someone's like, man, I'm out of the game. I'm out of the game on drug dealing. I'm going to sell my phone with all my clients' information to another drug dealer. Here you go, mate. Yeah, no startup costs. That's like selling your business. Yes, these people are just selling their drug business. Yeah, all of the customer contacts included, obviously. Yes, I will sign the non-compete, and I promise I won't try to poach any of my existing clients or go into the drug game for at least 2 more years. And, you get all my existing clients, so you're welcome. In a chapter entitled County Lines as a Business Model, Harding noted concepts emerging of product placement, branding, customer value, loyalty and satisfaction, pricing strategies, and customer relations. See, that's what it's all about. And a lot of drug dealers really need to know that it's about going that extra mile. You got to have that customer service. It's all about the customer, and you've really got to have those extra layers to stand out from your competition. If I'm delivering drugs to my clients, I'm already going to be better than someone who has to come to my place to pick them up, But now, if I'm delivering them, I've always got a smile. I've always got a chipper attitude about me. I'm presentable. I've got a polo shirt on, a Pringles branded polo shirt. I'm clean cut. I smell nice. I'm freshly presented. Even better. Now, what if I'm selling you drugs, but I also have a smorgasbord of snacks you could purchase at a profit? Obviously, they are marked up prices because you don't need to go anywhere. Starting to think if I should get into the drug game. Hey, these years that I spent at university and all these goddamn books about marketing that I've been reading, are really wasted on doing B2B marketing. I really need to get into the B2C game, business to consumer, and those consumers are consumers of drugs, and I need to be offering that product for them. So, definitely a lot to think about for me, it turns out. The other thing I wanted to talk about, just briefly, because I did see this as I was looking stuff up, Grimes, who is like she's the singer, artist / mother of a child with the most unique name on the planet / Elon's Bay, is selling her soul at auction, which was originally valued at 10 million USD. She's selling a piece of her soul. So, I don't know if that's something you're interested in. She has, following making headlines over naming her baby, Grimes is back in the spotlight. So basically, she's putting on her first ever art show. And I guess part of the exhibition is that members of the public are able to purchase a piece of her soul. Clever. The show's called Selling Out. So, I don't know if you're into that kind of thing, if you've maybe got $10 million in your back pocket and maybe you're just a fucking massive Grimes fan, just sort of putting it out there for you. This information is for you. So if that's what you're into, go check it out. The exhibition's called Selling Out. Now, before we get out of here, I really just wanted to, again, now that I'm self-isolating, I've got to quarantine myself until my symptom. That's actually part of what they said. They're like, hey, even though you're now like your own negative, you still need to continue isolating yourself until you're not sick anymore, which I think is less Rhone related, and it's just like more, hey, don't make people sick related. So, but hey, I'll do it for everyone's safety. I promise I'll stay at home. Damn, I hate staying at home with my TV and my movies, my TV shows, my video games. Crumbs. I hate staying at home. No, don't make me. I wanted to dive into Bellingham, Washington, one of my favorite places on earth, just because it houses one of my favorite people, Colin. Mwah. This segment goes out to my dear friend Colin, who lives in Bellingham, Washington, who is surrounded by some of the craziest people on earth. The Bellingham, Washington misconnections is it pops off. So many people post on the Bellingham, Washington fucking misconnections. It's crazy. You go to Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, nothing. It sucks. You go to Bellingham, Washington, where my wonderful boy Colin lives. Lively. Constant updates. So seeing as I'm stuck at home, I wanted to see what people who were out and about in the world, what they're doing. And this one goes out to Graveyard Goddess in Bellingham, Washington. This is Watcombe Falls Park at the Bayview Cemetery. Long shot. You jogged past my toddler and I in the cemetery this morning and gave me the most infectiously charming smile. I was stunned. Just in case you're wondering, yes, I'm a single dad. Where did you and Mary meet, actually? Funny story. Me and my son were at the cemetery. Oh, visiting his mum. Oh, was that what was happening? Oh. And anyway, this really hot chick ran past, and now me and Mary shacked up. So, who? Bethany, yeah, my wife. Yeah, it's a sad day. But me and Mary now. Hey, that's dark. Hey, I thought I had Rhone, okay? I thought I was being taken out. I thought I was being freed from this mortal coil. Okay? Sorry that the jokes are dark. My apologies. But I only just thought of that. Were they visiting them? Anyway, let's not get into it. Beautiful potential love story here. She did give him the most infectiously charming smile. So, she's into him, he's into her, true love can blossom. At the side of your ex-wife, though. Hey, never mind. Skipping past that. This was downtown Bellingham. This was downtown Bellingham. Me. Me. Dot, dot, dot. I was also at the beach, obviously. Well, yeah. I mean, if you saw this person at the beach, then I'm assuming you were also at the beach. But they did want to clarify. Me. I was also at the beach, obviously. I saw your curly brown hair swirling in the wind. I could tell the sea salt air had touched it. Why were you swimming? It was cold. Why were you swimming? It was cold. I knew from that moment we should meet. I think I love you. So over the top, dude. The fact that like someone goes home and writes on the internet, curly brown hair swirling in the wind, I could tell the sea salt air had touched it. First of all, if you were the woman at the beach that he's talking about, that's a bit of a red flag. A little bit of a red flag, okay? Why were you swimming? It was so cold. Anyway, I think I'm in love with you from that first time I saw you that I was at the beach at, obviously. Oh. You know, relationships just move fast these days. Maybe that's it. Maybe, you know, everyone is so 3008 and I'm so 2000 and late. You know, that could be it. Looks like you've got your work cut out for you. And this was at Walmart Garden Center just over 2 weeks ago. So I guess they said to this person, looks like you got your work cut out for you. And you replied, just gets better from here. And I should have said more, but it seems to be weird times, sort of. And I know you're from somewhere, but couldn't think of where and still can't, darn it. And I recognize you even though you were wearing a mask, lol, easily, as your beauty just shines through. And damn, I wish I had, and damn, I wish I'd just said, hey, what's your name? But I didn't. Remember? Weird times, lol. But here's hoping everything goes fantastically with your garden soil and all you have planned for it. Believe me, I've had my cart full there in that same department many times. And life treats you. And you treat it right back as amazingly, stunningly, gorgeously as you deserve. By the way, on top of everything else, great legs. Let's get a moment of cringe. Let's get a moment of silence for that. Okay, good. Now that we've all shivered at that one. I don't look, hey, I don't wanna yuck anyone's yum. I don't wanna, you know. But this is a little that you had all these thoughts and then you went home and you thought like, I think I should put that somewhere. I think I'm gonna put it on misconnections in hopes that they also look up misconnections. After they think that this interaction that we had where I said one thing to you and you said one thing back and then I had this like crazy other thought process in my head and I'm assuming you did as well, I think we'll both check misconnections for this. It just seems like I'm kind of obsessed with that thought process. Like how someone goes from having this seemingly meaningless interaction with someone and then, you know, they fill out the rest of the narrative in their head and then they think like, yeah, I this has to go on, like I have to put this out somewhere. You know, I have to message in a bottle this on the internet and like pray to God, love songs and dedication style, that they hear this and get in contact with me. Left-handed girl at Brio. You're a brown-haired girl who is left-handed, and I noticed you're left-handed. I am too. To me, you're about as beautiful as it gets. Are you single? Hey, I've been staring at you for a while now, and I've noticed that you're left-handed. Me too. Let's be left-handed together forever. What do you say? What do you say? To the goddess on State Street. I saw you getting into your car on State Street by the VFW Hall. You had long, dirty blonde hair and legs that I need to kneel down in front of. Get in touch if you need someone to worship you. So if you're out there, if the dirty blonde-haired, wonderful-legged person who was in front of the VF Hall is out there, get in touch if you're after someone to worship you. So that's going to do it, quite frankly. No better place to leave it in my mind than leg worship. If you're a supporter of the show on Patreon and you want to worship these legs, stay tuned for our post-credits leg worship section of the podcast, also known as our bonus question. Very much like a Marvel-style movie, post-credits, we do have an extra little snippet, an extra little tasty taste. So if you are a producer-level patron over on the Patreon, stay tuned. But if you're not yet a supporter on Patreon and you're digging what I'm doing here, you want to support the show, or maybe you want to get your hands on early episodes, behind the scenes, bonus content, head over to patreon.com/oneweirdpodcast. Check out the tiers. Become a patron today if that tickles your fancy. And again, very special thank you to the people who do support the show, who are patrons. Shane, Sam, producer patron Sam. You guys say it all the time, but you're absolute legends. It genuinely means a lot to have people who, support this and want to support what I'm doing and are actually backing it with their money, which is, really one of the ultimate levels of I guess saying that you enjoy something, voting with your dollar. And it very much does mean the world to me. So thank you guys for doing that. I hope to continue to have your support. And if you want to keep up to date with the podcast, all the goings on, you can head over to One Weird Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at mypixelpersona. And hey, a single favor to ask on this episode: if you could leave a 5-star review wherever you get podcasts. It helps that GD algorithm know that people are digging this and that other people like you would also be interested in it. So leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening. Share the show with a friend, family member, loved one, colleague. And that's going to do it for this episode. This has been episode 66. Has this been 66? 67? This has been an episode. Come back for the next episode. And I'll see you next time. Peace.